Are you freaking kidding me? uh, I just did a recording, and I don't even know how long it was. Gosh, 20 some minutes. Apparently, I didn't hit the record button. So here we are, take two. Oh Lord, the life of a YouTuber newbie. All right, so let's dive in again. All right, guys. So happy Saturday. Uh, Hope you guys had a great Friday. So we're going to kick this thing in gear and get it done. All right. So Lishman did a great one. And just for, I need to double check, make sure. Yes, I am recording. All right. Lishman did a great one Friday night. So I'm watching it early this morning. So the hot topic is Alok's visit to New York. And Lishman kind of talked about this. And so why is he going to New York instead of DC? Well, the Federal Reserve, aka Treasury, their office in New York, obviously New York Stock Exchange, so many things financial happen in New York. But basically Iraq's accounts are held in New York with that branch of the Federal Reserve Treasury. So is he going there with the new rate in tow? Well, that's what everyone's hoping for. I find it interesting that he mentioned that Forbes is talking about Iraq. So the awakening rollout about Iraq and its importance is happening for the sheep. So when all of a sudden the rate is released and it's big news, they've warmed people up to it. So let's see. Yeah, as far as the rate. So Frank26 a couple days ago was sharing that Iraq has released the lower denominations in country, and he's always hypothesized that when that happens, they have a new rate. So if all things are true and that's happening, and Lishman kind of touched on this, could they have released a rate in country? It's possible. It's plausible. Nations do have the internet or the ability to shut down the internet. So we've seen that before, where these other nations have blocked Twitter, X, whatever you call it. So yeah, I mean, there is the possibility that they've have released a rate in country and they've released the lower denominations and they're keeping a lid on it. How long? I mean, you have to think how tech savvy people are, hackers and cell phones and all that. And, like Mark has set up code words or code phrases with his people to, years ago, to let them be able to tell him without telling him that, they've received monies. It's like Bob's uncle is sitting in a corner in a broken chair, so that means that, some bondholder has got his money. So yes, it's possible. Let's hope that that's true, because then that means that we are right around the corner. And then MarkZ from Friday morning said that the rumors that he's getting are that Iraq is going to release the rate this weekend. So that's a big deal. Now, talking about currency from Iraq, Mark touched on this yesterday, and then Militiaman last night. that in 2018, Iraq spent around $50 million printing new currency, lower denominations. So this tells you that back in 2018, they were preparing for this. Now, how fast they thought that was going to happen, I'm not sure, but it tells you how far back they've been anticipating this new rate and all the things happening. And they started destroying the 3-0 notes, so 25K, 50K, things like that. So why do you do that? So if you reduce the amount of currency, then you get a good handle on inflation. And then the other day, Bushman was reporting on how little inflation Iraq does have, and then that's key to their position to where they can flip the rate and basically be in the black. They've paid off their bills. They've paid off all their reparations to Kuwait for the invasion back in the Gulf Wars. So they've done all they need to do. And then in July, when we were hearing to talk about the World Trade Organization and ascension to that, it was stated back then that they've completed everything that they needed to complete for that ascension to the World Trade Organization. Now, has all that word salad been completed and they're there and they just haven't announced that? Yeah, it's possible. So, good news coming out of Iraq. Lots of big steps forward. Again, I'm sorry because I just spent 25 minutes talking about all this. I'm trying to recap it in my brain as I speak. My coffee is definitely kicking in. Yeah, so the other big news is RFK. So I'm sure if you haven't seen that, are you living under a rock? Because it's all over everything, Twitter, news, whatever. Well, I don't watch the news, but I'm assuming it is. But, so the big news, RFK endorsing Trump. So, when Trump made the big hoopla about Vance being his vice president, it was like, strange things are afoot. I didn't know anything about Vance. I still really don't. It's not my wheelhouse. I don't dive into Trump politics because it's like, he's the grand wizard of setting people up for them to fall. So I've just quit utilizing my brain power, what little bit I have, to follow Trump and his comms and clues. But the one thing I did think when he announced that Vance was his VP nomination was like, so is he just a placeholder? And then at the last minute, they're going to slide in someone else? I don't know. I don't know how it works with, nominees and all that things. But I do find it interesting now that another one of my theories I didn't mention is that, sorry, my throat's not, spent all day in a hospital yesterday. My wife had surgery, so trying to get rid of the hospital cooties. But another theory I had was that a Trump-Kennedy ticket would be a slam dunk. And then last night, what happens? RFK comes out of the woodwork and endorses Trump. That's interesting. So, in a nutshell, whatever whatever combination arrives at November 5th with Trump, whether it's Trump Vance, Trump Kennedy, whether Kennedy's going to be a part of Trump's cabinet and administration, it's a slam dunk. It's going to be so obvious that if it wasn't obvious enough before that Trump was the America's person that they want as president, if it wasn't obvious before, it's going to be blatantly obvious now. So if we get to November 5th and what happened in 2020 happens again, it's going to be so blatantly obvious. It was obvious enough in 20, but now it's going to be like, especially if they stick to Kamala as their choice, because if we are watching the movie and white hats are in control, they knocked it out of the park with Joe and the actor playing Joe, the bumbling idiot, and now they're doing the same thing with communist Kamala, painting her out as worse than Castro, and her plans for the sickle and hammer replacing our flag. So it's going to be such a blatant steal if that happens. That, man, you're talking about a powder keg. They're just sitting on it, flicking the bic, waiting for it to go off. So I hope that doesn't happen. I hope that it comes out that 2020 is overturned and yada, yada, yada. The plan takes effect. All the whatever. But it's going to be very interesting. We were already on a turbulent ride to November, and now they just lit the afterburners. So buckle up, Buttercup. It's going to be interesting. All right, that's all I got for today because I just don't have it in me to dive into all the stuff I did 20 minutes ago. So anyway, anything happens today, I'll jump on here. Oh yeah, I remember now what I talked about. TikTok. In a nutshell, I didn't plan on having a big channel on TikTok. I got on it just for shits and giggles. And it blew up. I had like over 2,000 people in a month. And I was on there scrolling. And all of a sudden my screen went white and it said, "You're permanently deleted and gone." That was it. No explanation. Nothing. So I started another one, but they have me as living in the United Kingdom. And, nothing against the United Kingdom, but I don't live there. I live here. It's opposite on what I'm seeing. I live in the United States. Nothing against the United Kingdom. Just never been there. Never lived there. But, so I've been going around with them, trying to fix that to no avail. So, in a nutshell, I will get on TikTok with a quick summary and let you know that I'm doing a video on YouTube. But YouTube from moving forward is going to be my main platform. So, stay tuned for updates here on YouTube. All right, guys. Have a great Saturday and have a great weekend. And we'll see what Mark has to say this morning. And if there's anything, I'll jump on and do a short. But enjoy your coffee and have a great day. See you.